Good afternoon to all. I, CA Jayaprakash Bharadia, Chairman Nanded Branch, welcome you all to a live webinar on the power of 264 beyond appeal and rectifications. The live webinar is organized by Direct Tax Committee of ICAI. Our Direct Tax Committee Chairman CA Piyush Hajer sir is unable to join us today owing to an urgent engagement, but he has extended his greetings and support to the program. I also extend a welcome to our Direct Tax Committee Vice Chairman, CA Vishnu Kumar Agrawal, sir. Sir, it's my pleasure to present his introduction. CA Vishnu Kumar Agrawal, sir, is a Central Council member of ICAI for the term 25-29. He is currently served as the Vice Chairman of CP Committee and the Direct Tax Committee of ICAI. Additionally, he is an esteemed member of several key committees, including the Standing Committee, Executive Committee, Management Committee, and Finance Committee of ICAI. Vishnu Kumar Agrawal sir is chartered accountant with over 2 decades of experience and specializes in income tax proceedings, Benami income tax litigations. As a renowned speaker and author, he has delivered numerous lectures on direct taxes and litigation matters.
जी, हाँ, and our moderator also, he has given valuable time. Both of you have, sir, given valuable time for the profession. Thank you very much from my bottom of heart, sir. And I again welcome my each and every member has joined this particular webinar. Friends, before Rajkumar ji speak, just I highlighted as a direct tax committee what we are doing at the ICI. Friends, first, I acknowledge today's session, Power of 264, Behind Appeal and Rectification. Friends, this is a very new chapter. On 263, every time we have heard so many lectures, every appeal we have filed against the 263 order. But for the 264, rarely we use this section, and this is the very important section for our practitioner, but we have never used this particular section. Department is always used 263, but we have not taken the advantage of the 264. Friends, as a direct tax committee vice chairman, we have just released our income tax act 2025, and this first time we have released from the direct tax committee because we have thought that each and every publication house is selling in 2000 and 2500 rupees, and why we should not print from our direct tax committee, and it is available for our sell counter at the 500 rupees. Because this new act, we have thought that my each and every practicing chartered accountant and the chartered accountant is working with the industry also, they will buy. Friends, We have given the several representation before the CBDT and the working hand to hand with the CBDT and the finance ministry. Friends, we have just came out in the 4 months ago, and it is benefited to my all the chartered accountant, the revised guidance note of the 44 AB, and so many chartered accountants during the course of the tax audit, they have benefited. And same time, we have also came out with all the ITR forms for checklist for the ITR forms for all my newly chartered accountant. Friends, I will not stand before between you and our speaker Nahataji, because he's again very busy person, and I requested so many times and he has given me times for our profession. Thank you, Nahataji, for giving your valuable time, sir, for my each and every chartered
Thank you.
accountant. Sir, across the country, sir, our participant have joined, sir. So I request you, sir, please take the our Hindi and English both the languages, because sir, our north side some people are like Hindi, and our south, sir, they like the English. So in both the languages, sir, this is my personal request to you, and my
Thank you.
thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for joining
Thank,
this program, sir. And now I request our moderator Jayaprakash ji to introduce our learned speaker Rajkumar Natha ji.
Thank you very much,
thank
sir.
you.
So, moving ahead, I am delighted to introduce our today's speaker for CA Advocate Rajkumar Nahata, sir, from New Delhi. Allow me to share his credential and achievements, sir. It's my privilege to welcome our eminent speaker for today, Mr. Rajkumar Nahata, a well-known face in the CA fraternity. Mr. Nahata is a CA turned lawyer with nearly 4 decades of multi-dimensional professional experience. Qualifying as a CA at the young age of 21, he built an impressive multidisciplinary career spanning taxation, investigation, audits, international trade, policy, advisory, arbitration, and handling complex civil and criminal legal matters involving various economic and commercial laws. As a CA, he gained immense expertise in special audit conducted for the income tax department and various such cases handled pan-India basis. At present, he leads JMRK Legal Associates, sorry, a full service law firm based in New Delhi, known for its strategic, ethical, and innovative approach. He actively engaged in research, policy, and institutional work for national and international organizations. He has authored a notable book on Benami law and assisted ICAI with submission to the OECD on globe implementation. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. For globe implementation framework pillar 2 and BEPS 2.0, also contributing to its several publication and committees. Nominated by the Honorable President of India, he served on the national managing body in the Indian Red Cross Society and has held key roles on the committees and panel across organizations of repute. What makes Mr. Nahata especially valuable for contributing to today's session is his deep command, practical mastery, and strategic understanding of Section 264 of Income Tax Act. He has successfully invoked this provision in several cases involving huge stakes, demonstrating not only technical expertise but also a rare ability to unlock a relief in cases where traditional statutory routes fall short. Over to you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Good afternoon to one and all. So, respected Vice Chairman, Shri Vishnu Kumar Agarwal Sahab, Direct Tax Committee ICAI, our moderator of the session, Shri Jayaprakash Baradia, Chairman Nanded Branch, and present all members from our profession. I welcome all of you and सबको मेरा नमस्कार. जैसा कि मुझे अग्रवाल साहब ने कहा कि हिंदी और इंग्लिश दोनों बोलो, तो सबसे पहले मैं बोलना चाहूंगा कि मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि एक बिछड़ा हुआ आदमी वापस अपने घर आ गया है. तो मेरे बारे में जो बताया गया कि आई एम प्रैक्टिसिंग अ लॉयर, तो जब आज मुझे ये मौका मिल रहा है कि मैं चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट के बीच में वापस आया हूँ, तो मुझे लगता है कि मैं वापस अपने घर आ गया हूँ और मुझे बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. सो मैं इसके लिए धन्यवाद देता हूँ आईसीआई डायरेक्टर्स कमेटी के चेयरमैन, वाइस चेयरमैन, सभी लीडरशिप को. Thank you. Now coming to the topic of the day, the power of 264 beyond appeals and rectification. When I was asked that you have to speak and tell us the topic, so I said we should discuss topics something which is very beneficial for the profession and for the client at at a wide level. So the topic on which probably we've been discussing in through various webinars by versus search and seizure assessment, I think 263 reopening. So many tedious, so many subjects I think we've been talking. So I thought that we should discuss this section 264 today. So therefore I requested our this leadership to give me option to speak on this subject, and which has been my request has been accepted. So I'm happy that I'm going to share my views on this subject. So before we discuss this particular topic, the power of 264 beyond appeals and rectification, I think we have to brush up with the basic knowledge. Knowledge would be from constitution, from statutory law, and from the legal perspective. So for the first, I think most of the members, those who are present, majority of them are already practicing in taxation, and few others may not be practicing, but they are well aware about the basic provision, fundamental rights. So first and fourth thing which I would like to bring to the notice of House, that our constitution, which is a supreme, which has given mandate to the government that how this taxation system will work in our country. So your attention is attracted to Article 265, which you can see this says no tax shall be levied or collected except by authority of law. So therefore, in our country, not a single rupee in the form of tax, penalty, interest can be collected unless there is a proper sanction from the law. So the law, of course, who is the maker? Our parliament is the maker. So the law in question is our Income Tax Act as on date 1961. Before that, there was Income Tax Act 1922, and now I think we have a new act, which is Income Tax Act 2025, which shall come into force from 1st April 2026. So brothers, I think starting from 1992 till this 2025, as for the basic structure of this. Sorry. So rights are same. So I am coming to the charging section. There are two sections in our Income Tax Act which give the mandate to the tax authorities that they can collect taxes, they can levy, compute, and collect taxes, which is section 4 and section 5. So section 4 says that tax can be collected of every person has to pay tax on his total income for a particular previous year. And this particular income tax would be as per the rate prescribed from every year to year. So this calculation, the levy, computation, and this collection of tax, section 5 says that the income which is received or deemed to receive, or income which is accrued or deemed to accrue or arise would be taxed in the hands of each taxpayer depending on his residential status. So crux of the matter, that section 4 and 5, which are the charging section, they gives the mandate to the tax authorities that they have to collect tax from each individual, each assessee, as per the charging section, as per the provisions of the law. So this section 4 and 5 says that, so therefore you have to tax the real income. Section 4 and 5 says you cannot income the imaginary, notional, artificial. It has to be real income. So in order to, so majority of the litigation which we see, because we are saying that this is not my income. Department levy taxes on substantial tax, income which is not the real. So the mandate is only, so it is the duty of the tax authorities to tax, to compute the concealed or disclosed income which is real in nature. After this 4 and 5, I think we have to understand what is the mandate given by the, so after this parliament has asked the ministry as per the government of India, allocation of business rules, Ministry of Finance is the ministry which takes care of this particular tax. And the ministry has further nominated the nodal agency, which is CBDT. CBDT regulates all officers pan India. So I think you can see it's a circular of 1955 and number is 14. And I'm drawing your attention to clause 3 of this particular circle. Very important, which is not only related to the subject topic of the day, even otherwise we should understand this shows the intent of the government that they are not interested in taking away any money by way of any tax which does not exist. So officers of the department were directed that they must not take any advantage of ignorance of any SSC as is right. So therefore, even SSC has forgot about his right. It's the duty of the tax authorities to protect the rights, and they should not take advantage of the ignorance of the SSC. It is one of their duties to assist the taxpayer in every reasonable way, particularly in the matter of claiming and securing relief, and in regard to the officer should take initiative in guiding a taxpayer where proceedings or other particulars before them indicate some refund or relief is due to them. Even if you have not claimed, assessee has not claimed any refund or any relief, it is a duty to provide them. So his attitude would be, in the long run, benefit the department, for it would inspire confidence in him, and that he may be sure of getting a square deal from the department. So it's a indication, mind of the government, that our duty is to collect tax on the real income. So similarly, there are many other periodical instructions issued by the department, by the CBTDT, and international the courts also. Now coming to the topic of the day, because we don't have time, so I would like to discuss section 264, which is I think the power of section 264. There are many other ancillary and related topics and subjects which I would like to deal. So my point is section 264 may be described as acts in-house, which is the remedy given by section. So 264 section and article 265 of the constitution, their number are back to back, but both the documents are different. So purpose is that in-house court, they set up department and they resolve their in-house litigation. So now I would like to discuss section 264 of the Act. So friends, this 264, the title of the section is revision of other orders. So before that, I think we should first understand 263. 263, the orders which are erroneous and which are prejudicial to revision of orders prejudicial to the revenue. So it is a back-to-back pair of sections which runs almost in every act. Even in the Act of 1922, there were 33A and 33B. They were the pair dealing with the same subject. In 61 Act, again 263 and 264. And in section this Act of 2025, again 377 and 28. So this 263, 264 section, which talks, 263 talks about revision of orders prejudicial to the revenue, to the interest of the revenue. So wherever department finds that the associate has concealed income or proper taxes have not been collected by the authorities below, maybe during course of assessment, commissioner or the administrative head, he feels that there is under assessed assessment. So I think the assessment records can be called for and the assessment can be reopened. I think we've been facing this 263 almost very often. Then assessee receives notice after completion of the assessment. So parallelly, if they can take care of the department, so the parliament must have thought that this uh, department should also take care of the assessee. The word revision is coming up before us, which probably you can say what is the revision. Revision means that something which exists we have to revise. Revision is a supervisory jurisdiction where a higher authority examines the records of lower authority to ensure legality, regularity, and propriety. So ample powers have been given by the parliament, correcting errors without converting the process into a full-fledged appeal. So instead going for the revision can be of two category. One is narrow, another is wider. So in places like in criminal CRPC, So the revision is very limited. So senior authorities, they would not interfere in the decisions taken by the lower authorities. But contrary or in contrast, in income tax, Section 264 gives wider, ample powers to the administrative head. And what for what? To ensure that no wrongdoing should be done against the SSC. Public should feel confident. Yes, their rights are protected. So in light of that, the Section 264 was enacted by the Parliament. Friends, I think we've been seen that often then based on the jurisprudence, based on the changes in the circumstances, maybe the evolution of the world, all the income taxes have been changed from time to time. Almost every provision has been changed multiple times. This is the only section of the Act which, according to my information, has not been changed since ages, because it is not based on any law, but it is based on the principles of equity. It says that it's the duty of the government, or it is the duty, again, Magna Carta, if you go back to Magna Carta, it is the duty of the king to collect fair taxes. So it is also a duty which is cast on the officers of the department, that the administrative head will ensure that no wrongdoing should be done by the authorities below. So the section 264, which is before us, it talks about revision of other orders. Other order means order to which all orders other than to which section 263 apply. This section 264 has 7 subsections, 1 proviso, and 3 explanations. In total, there are 11. So these 11 different ways. So it discuss. I think I would like to discuss one by one. I would like to take your patience 10 minutes to discuss each and every provision of this one section, and then we'll switch to the practical aspects of the this particular law. So 264(1). I'm reading, in the case of any order other than an order to be section 263 applies, passed by an authority subordinate to him. It means wherever I feel post assessment that it is a case of under assessment, I will invoke my provisions under section 263. So therefore, I have no reason to invoke 264. This is the meaning. So principal commissioner, principal chief commissioner, principal commissioners. So it gives powers to various senior officers, may either of his own motion or on an application made by the SSC for revision. What they can do, call for the records of any proceedings under the Act. It means this particular section will come into force when there was some assessment, there was some demand, or some action was taken by the department, in which any such order has been passed and may make such inquiry or cause such inquiry to be made, subject to provision of this Act, may pass such order therein, not being an order prejudicial to the interest of the SSC, as he thinks fit. So the discretion has been given to the senior officers, that they should examine, they should call for the records, and they should see whether the authorities below, they have conducted their duties judiciously or not, legally or not, or they have taken the interest of the. So it talks about any order. It is not, there is no restriction. You see, this is the only section which talks about any order. Else you will find specific express provisions. So it talks about any order under the Act, whether it is appealable, it is not appealable. So therefore, this is subsection 2. I'm coming that this particular section, these officers, senior officers, shall not of his own motion revise any order unless this section, if the order has been more than 1 year. So suo moto, the action can be taken by the department. There is no need for any complaint. There is no need for any application. It is the duty has been cast by the Parliament on the senior officers, that it is your duty to supervise. It is a supervisory powers given to the senior officers. They'll summon, they'll call for the record, and suo moto, they can take this action. But there should not be any delay in any such action. Therefore, the Parliament has said it has to be done ASAP. So therefore, the minimum time given to them is has to be done before 1 year. So within 1 year, so the commissioner or senior officers, they have to examine and they will have to pass this order in favor of the assessee. Interestingly, favor of the assessee. It means wrongdoings were done by junior officers have been cured by the senior officers, and it is not prejudicial by the order. I think the language which is given that it should not be prejudicial to the intercessee. It means they cannot harm the assessee directly or indirectly. They have to work. They have to act in the interest of the assessee if situation warrants. I'm coming to the subsection 3. There was one situation where suo motu can be done. There is another situation, it can be done by the assessee also. So it talks about an application. It is not an appeal, friends. Otherwise, after an assessment, generally we challenge an order. Public कहते हैं क्या करना भाई appeal file कर दो. तो ये appeal नहीं है. It is a different scheme, but it is going to give it's a remedy available. In case an application for revision under this section, it can be within 1 year. I assess is given again the same period of 1 year. That if you notice any such mistake in the order, whenever the order comes to your notice, you can approach the senior officer by making application within that period. And there can be a situation that the assessee has forgot about his rights, claims, and maybe wrongdoings. If it comes to the notice, maybe after a year or after 6 months, so he has to adduce good sufficient cause for making this investigation beyond the time limit. And if commissioner is satisfied with the explanation, the reasons cited by the assessee, the commissioner, the senior officer has to admit an application. It is not talking about the condonation of delay, friends. Though it is a condonation of delay, but the law says, Parliament says that you have to admit an application even after expiry of that period. There is no mention that this delay can be 6 months, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Everywhere in the Act, you will find some threshold limits. Coming to the subsection 4, it says that principal commissioner or the senior officer shall not revise any order under this section. So they have given different situation. Underlying message is that if the order passed, subject order passed, has already been appealed, challenged before any other authorities, then this administrative head will not interfere. The principle is same. At one time, there cannot be two proceedings simultaneously because the assessee has already availed the other available remedy, which can be appeal, which can be rectification, which we'll discuss later on. And for this application, which is to be filed within 1 year, so the parliament has said that you have to pay only 500 rupees, though fee prescribed for filing appeal or maybe filing appeal before CIT appeal or ITAT that ranges from 250 rupee to 10,000 rupees. But here this amount is restricted to 500 rupee only. And further it says that every application for revision, if it is filed after 1st October 1998, order shall be passed within 1 year. It gives again, there should not be delay. It should not be that appeals is filed, there is no time limit available in before CIT appeal. It can be decided at any time. It can take 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. But for curing this defect in the assessment, Parliament has said that the commissioner has to dispose of this revision application filed by the assessee within 1 year from the end of the financial year in which such application is made. Friends, but I think there is one catch which practically I'll discuss later on, that if I can file my appeal within 1 year and the 1 year expires in May, if I file before 31st March, so the order under 264 would be completed in 13 months. If I file maybe in April, the order will be completed in 23 months. So I have to decide what suits me. Based on that, I can. So this flexibility is given to me of the financial year. It talks about within 1 year from the end of the financial year. Generally, it talks about month to month, year to year, day to date, but it talks about end of the financial year. There is one explanation. Explanation says that in the computing the limitation of 1 year, if the order is maybe stayed by an order of the court, So the such period shall be excluded, and the commissioner has to pass the order in the remaining period. But friends, I would like to add one thing, that in the order, this new code, the Act of 2025, the in order to have this reasonable time with the commissioner, so it has been stipulated that after excluding this period of the stay, if the remaining time is less than 60 days, then department would get 60 days, minimum 60 days time for passing this order. Now coming to the subsection, we are coming to the subsection 7, 264, 264, we, yeah, 264, yeah. So we were now coming to subsection 7, it says that any order notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 6, an order in revision under subsection 6 may be passed at any time. So there is no time limit given if the order is stayed. So there is no time limit given if the findings of appellate tribunal, high court or supreme court. It's again a loosely session, but I think the time of 60 days is further clarified. There are two explanations. One is explanation one: order passed by principal commissioner senior officers shall, for the purpose of this section, be deemed to be an order prejudicial to the assessee if it is they don't interfere in the any assessment. It doesn't mean that this order is prejudicial to the interest of the assessee. Explanation 2 says, for the purpose of this section, deputy commissioner appeal. Nowadays, you see that appeals are filed. Small appeals are given to the deputy commissioner appeal, and the big appeals are given to the commissioner appeal. So, deputy commissioner appeal is an officer working as a subordinate to the senior officer, and for the purpose of this section, he'll be treated as a subordinate officer. It means it is not only the assessment order or the penalty order which is passed by the assessing officer, which is subject matter of 264. Even an appellate order passed by deputy commissioner appeal would be a subject matter of 264, provided there should not be any appeal filed by the assessee before tribunal, or there should not be any time left for filing such appeal. So, crux of the matter, this 264 section, what we have discussed, that Parliament has carefully, judicially protected the statutory, constitutional, and legal rights of the assessee, that wherever you feel that wrongdoings have been done, instead following the conventional method for litigation, that is for going to the back to the department by way of filing a rectification, filing an appeal before maybe the CAT appeal or DC appeal, or for going to the higher judicial platform, which is ITAT, High Court, Supreme Court. You can directly go to the home and you can directly go to the administrative head, go and show the wrongdoings done by the junior officer, a subordinate officer, and you will get speedy relief in this section. So this is the section which we have discussed. There is a contemporary section which is 378 in this Income Tax Act 2025. So these 7 sections, 1 proviso, 3 explanations. So their total number is 11. So instead of giving provisional explanation in new act, the entire law has been mentioned in 11 different subsections, except that 60 days time which I just discussed, and the authorities have been named as competent authority. Rest all the provisions contained in 264 of 1961 is same in 2025 Act. Now coming to the point, now we have understood what is 264. Now friends, what happens in Income Tax Act? Because of the complexity, I think the charging section, it talks about received, deemed to receive, accrued, deemed to accrued, arise, different terms are mentioned. So for the purpose of interpretation, there are quite good chances there can be difference of opinion. There can be so many other reasons whereby the return filed by the assessee is not accepted in toto. So I am coming to the point that this particular section 264, which is the power, ample power which has been given, it gives again section 265 is acts in-house remedy available. So here I would like that conventionally what happens whenever there is a demand created, generally department the assessee comes to us, we examine the order. Generally nowadays the editions are used and we immediately plan to file appeal before CATAP, which is the first appellate body. Sometimes we see that the machine, CPC, the faceless system, has given some mechanical mistake by not giving us proper credit of taxes or maybe few other clerical mistake. Then we approach 154 application to the assessing officer to for curing those mistakes. So today I have to discuss these conventional mode of remedy, which is 154 and 246A, before we discuss in detail the provisions of 264. So first and the foremost thing, I would like to discuss the 154. So there are this particular section 154. It talks about mistakes apparent on record. So most of the cases where the mistakes apparent on record, which can be cured by the assessing officer himself. So 154, there is a time limit which is given 4 years from the date when it comes to your notice. 4 years from the end of the financial year in which this information about comes to you that the mistake has come to your notice. You can approach the your assessing officer. And then again, for filing an appeal, there is a time limit of 30 days which is given. For filing 264, we already discussed. Now, I would like to discuss three different situations. First situation, where cases where rectification under 154 is the most appropriate remedy. Because 154 talks about mistakes apparent on record. So this is the these are the different situations which you can see on the screen that I am discussing one by one. Where AO while computing total income in a regular assessment mistakenly include same receipt of 10 lakh twice. All underlying entries schedule clearly shows a single receipt, but the final computation sheet shows duplication. So the order comes suddenly. I disclose 10 lakh rupees, but at the time when I see the assessment, instead of typing 10 lakh, he has typed 20 lakh. It is a typing mistake. So error is purely clerical, though a demand is created because it's a double addition. So I think we have to see, but we have to ensure that it is only clerical mistake. There was no other evidence available with the department on record that the income was not 10 lakh, it was 20 lakh. If the evidence is restricted to only 10 lakh, then I think remedy is only available 154. 260, 246A, I don't think that there is require any data debate for this duplication. It's a simple duplication which can be dealt by 154. Of course, revision could also correct the mistake. But if you don't get relief under 154, then 264 is the best remedy to cure this mistake apparent on record. Coming to the second situation, which is nowadays the machine. Earlier, the income tax authorities were the authorities under section 116. नाउ आई थिंक पब्लिक को लगता है कि सब सीपीसी आ गया है, फेसलेस आ गया है, सब कुछ मशीन करती है. तो मशीन गलतियां करती है, जिसको ठीक करने के लिए भी पार्लियामेंट ने इन सीनियर ऑफिसर्स की ड्यूटी लगाई है. So in intimation under 143(1), CPC has failed to give credit of 40 TDS of which 2,50,000 rupees. Maybe on account of any mismatch, maybe on account of incorrect information 26 AS, maybe that 26 AS was not properly filed by the third party. So the mistake is evident from the statutory record. It can be cured under 154. Of course, 246A is not a remedy, but 264 certainly division is available if 154 is rejected. Coming to the third situation, I have cited these two. While granting carry forward business losses, because losses are coming from the previous record. Maybe 2 crore rupees was there, total schedule allowed. But while allowing it, it is not allowed 1 crore rupee. It was a mistake on record, but amount is used. So it is not a question that 154 will deal small cases. It can deal any mistake. Quantum is not a sub issue. Issue is what is the content. So this kind of mistake in allowing the carry for loss against 2 crore to 1 crore rupees, I think I can go straight away under 154. And if I 154 application is rejected, immediately I should rush to the 264 unless department has suo moto not corrected this mistake. Revision can be a backup if AO declines rectification. AO can say amount is used, it's a mistake. I've done the mistake. You file the appeal because the officers also afraid because tomorrow there can be any vigilance. So they would not like to even give legitimate relief to the SSC. So they will say, we will not do it. So then instead of going to the appeal, we should immediately take up 264. Coming to the next situation about the interest, 234B, which is the AO. Based on the information, he computes incorrect interest of my advance tax liability. We should go under 154. And if it is not to listen, then we should immediately approach under 264 that we 554 and it is not being listened. So I'm coming to 150, 264. Now, this is four different situations which I explained for 154. Now, coming to 246A, which talks about the appeal, where appeal should be filed and not the rectification. So, we have to decide the nature of the demand addition. So, here again, there are few examples which I am citing. AO disallows deduction under ATIA on the ground that assessee's activity is not eligible business. Dispute on whether it is an infrastructure facility or not. So dispute turns on detailed facts, agreement, interpretation of sections, sanctions, CBT circulars, correct? Or the activities which are being governed by the SSC or date of commencement of the business. There are so many facts which AO has to examine. And based on that, AO has to take a call. So the controversy is a classical mixed question of law and facts requiring appreciation of evidence and statutory interpretation. So friends, this particular situation requires proper adjudication because the law in or law of land going both in and favor and against the department and the SSC has to be seen, records have to be examined, inquiry has to be done, facts has to be. So therefore, it is a fit case where we should go to CIT appeal, appellate mechanism, and which is an extension of assessment proceeding. And this 154, of course, will not be available because it requires application of mind. It is a debatable issue. 264, again, which we have done, told you that 264, the department, the senior officer, they'll open the file. They'll see how AO has conducted the proceeding. So the dispute in question, whether I am eligible or not eligible, cannot be decided based on the papers, documents submitted by the department. So I don't think that commissioner would interfere in this kind of addition. And if you file 264, most of the time, commissioner will decline to interfere in this kind of situation. So the only remedy available is CIT appeal. The second situation which I would like to discuss, that assessment under 143.3 is made substantial additions on alleged bogus purchases, separation of profits. AO relies on third-party statements, field inquiries, the SSCS counter evidences, cross-examination, objections, alternative workings of the gross profit. But again, this is a matter where application of mind, it requires a deep, adversarial, multi-issue factual dispute. Adversarial means AO has to, the CIT appeal has to take into consideration the interest of both the parties. It is a dispute between the revenue and the SSC. So it is called adversarial dispute. So it's an adversarial dispute. So of course, no revenue officer would like to take any risk. It is not a case where 154 lies or the commissioner under revision will take up this kind of matter. Third situation, which probably is a best judgment. Most of the time we see that on account of whatever reasons, assessee is not able to comply to the notices requirement of the law. As a result, CIT appeal, the assessing officer based on the record, whatever he has, he passes the order. Here, I am of the opinion that while passing an ex parte order, section 145.3, or maybe the estimation, so board, the High Court, Supreme Courts have already warned the department that while assessing any ex parte order, you have to be very, very judicious. You have to pass a reasoned order. You have to pass the reasoned order. So again, this kind of case will should go before CIT appeal because revision could, in theory, set aside or tone down the ex parte order. But where the dispute is fact heavy and appeals available, high courts have repeatedly underlined that 264 should not be treated as usual remedy bypassing the appellate tier. This kind of situation where application of mind, where the decision has to be taken in the interest of both assessing department, I think matter should go for test, appellate test. It should go to the CIT appeal. And the last situation which I would like to discuss, AO passes an order under 147 without granting adequate opportunities of hearing, ignoring detailed objection, reopening, merit, field writing, several contentious on jurisdiction and limitations. So therefore, there are multiple issues: constitutional, legal, statutory. So it requires again a detailed investigation. It requires application of mind. So the assessment order suffers from both procedural defects, natural justice, non-consideration of objections, and substantive issues on merit and jurisdiction. So therefore, it matter cannot be done that under revision can theoretically be used, but cultures are generally reluctant to treat 264 as primary forum for nullifying reassessment involving disputed facts and law where appeal lies. So wherever there is a dispute, so revisionary commissioner will say, no, I will not lay my hands. You go to CIT appeal. Now coming to the topic which is 264. I think by now, friends, you all are aware that 154 and 246, they are the conventional remedies available, which are, we know that those remedies almost in every cases here and there. No one goes to 264. But I am of the view that 264 is not a wrong section. It is not an incorrect remedy. It is the powers of the assessee which they should use, exercise, but it has to be used very, very judiciously. Now I am coming to the four different situations where only 264 lies. You should not go to appeal. You should not invoke other remedy available. Number one, where the assessee has not paid admitted tax liabilities under the Act as required under Section 249.4. I would like to show you Section 249.4, which is very, very important. 249.4, again, it is a provision which talks about the procedure, the law relating filing the appeal before CIT appeal. So this particular section 4, I can read that no appeal under this chapter shall be admitted unless at the time of filing an appeal, where return has been for assessee, the assessee has paid taxes on income returned by him. So it's a precondition. If it is proved that the return in taxes has not been filed on the income returned by the assessee, no appeal can be filed by the assessee. Coming back to the previous different situation of 264. So therefore, wherever admitted tax has not been filed, as no appeal lies due to non-payment of tax, admitted tax, only available remedy is 264. Friends, you know nowadays the volumes are too high and sudden accidents can happen in any industry, any business, and overnight a running business can come to a shut situation. In that situation, maybe I'm not able to pay taxes on my past earned income. So it is not intentional. There can be situations whereby whereby I can be compelled not to pay taxes. Is this the decision? Appeal under 246A is not maintainable. Rectification, of course, question does not arise. So situation number two, AO adds full turnover, which is very prevalent, I think, situation. This is, friends, you must understand. It is happening almost in every third, fourth assessment, and I am bringing to your notice the specific situation. AO adds full turnover, revenue instead of determined profit, manifest material irregularity. Very important. We file a return, volumes are high, turnover details are available, TDS is deducted, TCS is collected, the database is available with the department. Maybe at the time of filing, my chartered accountant or maybe my accountant might have done some mistake, or maybe some with the wrong notion, a return is being filed. And he finds that turnover doesn't match it. So whatever balance he gets, he just makes the addition in the assessment order. Correct? Even the concealed turnover, if he finds filling course of such, he concealed turnover is added. So the mandate is not to add the receipt. Mandate, I told you, it has to be real income, which is already given in section 4. AO treated gross receipt as taxable income without reducing cost and evident. Correct? And AO passes a high pitch assessment order refusing a stay of demand under 226 despite a strong prima facie case. There is no separate assessment at this stage. Grievance is only against the coercive recovery and refusal to consider CBDT's high pitch assessment guidelines. So what happens? Huge additions are being made. Assessor doesn't have money. Now he doesn't know what to do. He first immediately within 30 days, if he doesn't file penalty, even the prosecution, even penalty provisions, they will come in force. Immediately what he does, immediately he rushes to the chartered accountant or the council and he files his appeal. But I don't think that he will give you, because huge additions are there and they are arbitrary, they are against the mandate of the law. So looking to the quantum, because for filing the appeal, second appeal by the department, there is a different threshold limits. I think limits are available, we'll discuss later on. So even if I get a relief from CID appeal, the department will take my case up to Supreme Court, or maybe after 20 years, then I will not be there in life, and my children will take the succession of my business, and they'll get a notice from Supreme Court that this case, the assessment order has been set aside by the Supreme Court back to the file of you. At that time, after 20 years, my children, they don't know what were the facts, why this addition was done. And somehow it's a very difficult situation for any family what to do, despite there was no actual concealment of. So therefore, in such cases, my advice that order is, if you can prove that order is illegal, material irregularity, no man of ordinary prudence would so decide. Revision corrects such illegality. So you'll have to prove on record there was apparent illegality, material irregularity, arbitrariness, and the concept of real income has been disregarded by the SSC. So relief set aside the addition and direct for the fresh computation, which is not available with CITP. The stay refusal order is not an applicable order under 246A. 264A provides an in-house supervisory remedy to challenge such non-speaking or unreasonable stay decisions and to align them with CBD instruction 1914, like other high pitch assessment. So according to me, if you go to CIT appeal, even if you get the relief, I would like to show you the board's circular on the monetary threshold limit, which is, I think most of the members must be aware, but it is, I think I shall be failing in my duty if I don't show that how department functions. In the 17th September 2024 recent communication from the Ministry of Finance, and para 2 talks about that whenever there is a monetary limit of 60 lakh rupees, above 60 lakh rupees, even if I get a relief from CATP, the matter department will go to ITAT. In ITAT, if the monetary limit is more than 2 crore rupees, they'll go to High Court. If it is more than 5 crore, they'll go to Supreme Court. So meaning thereby, nowadays looking to the numbers, we see the assessment orders are running into several thousand crores based on this information, digital information which departments receive from different sources. So maybe it is not a deliberate. I will not say that do it deliberate, but it happens so because of the system which exists, or maybe the limitation on the part of department, or maybe the hardship on the part of the SSC. So if I go to appeal and get a relief, my matter will go up to High Court, Supreme Court. So I don't want that. If I cannot contribute to the kitty of my children, I have no right to create a liability, leave any liability for them which actually does not exist. So, friends, in this type of situation, if we go to the commissioner under 264A, immediately, if you can convince, matter would set aside back to the assessing officer, demand would reduce to zero on the very same day, and you can show the papers and you can cure the mistake. So that the third situation which I would like to come in 264 situation, two situation I have explained. Third situation, regular assessment 3 makes an addition of file ad hoc. SSC acting on the wrong professional advice and facing illness does not file appeal. He forgot and time is over. Now what to do? He knows that this is not a real income. Instead of appeal, filing an appeal, immediately he should pursue this recourse available, and he should try to get the relief. Maybe because the time is over, for filing 264, there is a time of 1 year. For filing appeal, 30 days. Next situation, assessee filed return without claiming deduction ATG. I forgot. I paid donation, maybe 8010A, 80IA, donation, investment, whatever few deductions which I was otherwise entitled. Time for filing return is over, assessment is complete. If I go to this appeal, they will say ki this is the additional evidence. You will have to file an application under Rule 46A, which is a discretion of the Commissioner of Appeal. They may allow, they may not allow. So it is not surety. Even if I go to CIT appeal, I can leave. But here in 264, I think this is the most appropriate form. I should go and show the proof that this is a legitimate proof for my deduction, for my investment, for my action. And I think the commissioner, if prima facie they see a good case, correct case, I'll get a relief, maybe directly from commissioner or may not be from the by setting aside the. So based on the cumulative discussion, so the point which is coming up before us, that how should we decide? In this situation, there should be some test that there is another test that this particular case should go to CIG appeal, this particular matter should go to revision at 264. So I would like to first take you to the cases where appeal should be filed, not the revision, against the topic of. So these are the different situations which I would like to discuss, where we should advise to our client, or the client should be advised that he should file an appeal, not the rectification, neither rectification, nor the revision. Where the adjudication requires re-evaluation of facts, documents, evidence, disallowance of expenses, estimate of profits, characterization of receipts. So therefore, application of mind, fresh application of funds, fresh evidence, and adjudication. So this aspect should go to the CID appeal only. If I go in 264, either commissioner will decline to interfere or they will reject my application. Second situation where there are mixed question of facts and law needing full appellate examination. There can be a question of law, there can be a question of facts. I think I should not take a risk. I should go to CIT. Where SSC wants multi-tier remedy. SSC को लगता है कि मेरे को मैटर अभी या नीचे से नहीं मिलेगा, लेकिन मुझे हाई कोर्ट छोड़ देगा, मुझे सुप्रीम कोर्ट छोड़ देगा. कई बार ऐसी सिचुएशन आती है, हमें लगता है कि साहब नीचे रिलीफ नहीं मिलेगी, ऊपर मिल जाएगी, फैक्ट्स हमारे कमजोर हैं, हमारे पास एडिक्वेट एविडेंस नहीं है, लेकिन वो रियल इनकम भी नहीं है. तो मेरा कॉन्शियस कॉल है that I should go to the CAT, where additions are substantial and assess is willing to accept risk of enhancement Friends, the question of what is enhancement. Enhancement is again a fear that if I go and file an appeal, so commissioner appeal again is an extension of assessment. So whatever powers, rights are available with the commissioner's assessing officer, almost better powers are available with CIT. So he can visit because he has to see the entire assessment. Maybe I'm going for appeal against 3 points, but it is the assessing CIT appeal has the ample power to visit the entire assessment. So if he finds any irregularity, he can immediately give a notice for enhancement of income, and of course, in the principle of natural justice be followed. After giving me a notice, वो केस को एनाउंस कर सकता है। इनकम लेके गया, मैं 40 लाख रिटर्न भरी, 4 करोड़ रुपए का असेसमेंट हुआ, वो 4 को 8 करोड़ कर सकता है। ये रिस्क मुझे रखनी पड़ेगी, तो ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा कि मैं उन्हीं केसेस में सीआईडी अपील में जाऊं जहां पे अनाउंसमेंट की रिस्क कम से कम है। अगर अनाउंसमेंट की रिस्क ज्यादा है, तो आई थिंक आई शुड ट्राई टू गो टू रिवीजन even if my same assessment order is confirmed, still no order which is prejudicial to the interest of the assessee shall be passed. However, I have to ensure that there is no time limit for enhancement of income, but there is a time limit for 263. 263 has to be done within 2 years. But for enhancing the income by CIT appeal, there is no time limit. So if the time limit of 2 years is already expired, if I see a situation of enhancement, even if I don't see that it is a fit case for revision, yet I should go file my matter in appeal revision so that at least I can save myself from any such enhancement. Detailed findings of AO on facts are incorrect and require complete appreciation. Where additions are weak or loosely worded, where strategy involves building a record through successive appellate forum for possibly higher court intervention. So avoid appeal where assessee is not ready to bear risk of enhancement or prolonged multi-tier litigation. So ये टेस्ट है। अगर आपको इंस्टेंट रिलीफ चाहिए, आपको पब्लिक इशू में जाना है, आपको बैंक से लेना है, बैलेंस शीट के अंदर अपने को नोट नहीं चाहिए, कंटीजेंट लायबिलिटी का, you want to bring the finality, then I think 246A is not the appropriate forum and 264. Now coming to the checklist, I am sharing with my friends in whatever knowledge I have, because I have practical experience of dealing 264 cases right from the commissioner up to Supreme Court. So based on my little experience, I have made this checklist for all my friends that these are the situations where we should convince to our client that he should file 264. Yet there is a threat that सब 264 करोगे तो कोई अपील नहीं है। आप क्या करोगे? अरे अपील रेमेडी इज अवेलेबल, बट रेमेडी इज ऑफ डिफरेंट टाइप, बट द रेमेडी विच इज डिफरेंट टाइप of course has to be handled in a different manner. So I are the different situation where 264 should be filed, where assessee has not paid, which I already told you. Second, the order is prejudicial to the assessee, but issue is largely legal, jurisdictional, or based on clear error, not requiring extensive fact finding. Commissioner should open the record, find the mistake, correct the mistake, that's over. Where the appeal limitations is over, assessee prefers not an appeal, continuous waive right of appeal. मैंने 30 दिन निकल गया, 6 महीने हो गए, मैं क्या करूं? मुझे 264 कर देना चाहिए. Where assessee wants a no risk remedy, very important. But I told you that yeah, risk is limited. 264, no adverse order. Yes, 263 be done if commissioner detects that mistake. So that you have to handle your case carefully. That situation of 263, if you can save, then 264 is the best. Where assessee discovers later date a deduction exemption or claim which was omitted, which I discussed, 264. Where recovery of demand is causing genuine hardship, डिमांड बढ़ गई है 200 करोड़ रुपए की, आपका टोटल बिजनेस हैम्पर हो गया है, बैंक अकाउंट आपके अटैच हो गए, व्हाट टू डू? लुकिंग टू द डिमांड अमाउंट, बेटर वी गो टू सुप्रीम कोर्ट. So therefore, I will get, I think, double gain, win-win situation. I'll get my additional settled. I'll get rid of my demands. So this is another situation where high pitch assessment has been made, an exorbitant demand has been raised, and such additions are prima facie erroneous, non-sustainable. Friends, you have to remember, it should be prima facie erroneous, non-sustainable, but you have to establish that this is not, none of the additions represent real income within the theme of the Act, Section 4 and 5, the charging section. So you have to, the burden is on the assessee to prove that addition is in question is not represented by a real income. Where the assessee has withdrawn an appeal to pursue revision, courts have recognized primacy, it's the primacy of the assessee choice if no decision on merit has been rendered. So there is one circular I think I would like to bring to your notice that in this situation, even if you have filed an appeal, because period of for filing appeal is only 30 days, and period available for filing is this 264 is 1 year. Now, how to deal? Immediately, what we do as a professional, we should immediately file appeal so that there should be a remedy. We can ask the assessing officer that he should keep all penalty proceeding in abeyance. Otherwise, he'll proceed with the penalty proceeding within 6 months. We have to stop him. And then 264C provides the commissioner shall not revise any order under section where the order has been made subject to appeal. It is a question that what do you mean by subject to appeal? So they have clarified this through this circular number 367. In three situation, if we can prove, then we can file. It is the 1983 circular is of 1983, where the appeal was withdrawn by SSC and it was dismissed as such. No view has been taken by the commissioner appeal, where the appeal was dismissed on ground that appeal was incompetent. Appeal was incompetent or incomplete. Third, where appeal was dismissed on the ground of limitation. So if the application of mind has not been done or any view has not been done on the merit of the case, then the order is free from any, like it is untouchable. Article 17 of Indian Constitution. Untouchable. अगर किसी ने टच कर लिया, कमिश्नर विल नॉट टच. And अगर CITP ने टच नहीं किया, once CITP makes any comments on merit, then it merge, doctrine of merger will apply. Then probably the CITP will not. So coming back to the situation which we are discussing, the checklist for filing 264. So what we were discussing about that the appeal, assessee has withdrawn an appeal in to pursue revision, provided it is not a right. Remember, friends, that I can go and appeal. I need to get an order from the Commissioner of Appeal that he allows me to withdraw the appeal. Once, unless until I don't have the order in hand, I cannot go in the revision. So I have to assign good reasons to Commissioner of Appeal in my application that these are the reasons whereby I would like to prefer revision over appeal. So I don't think that in practice the Commissioner of Appeals they would deny and decline to your request. Generally they allow. Next, where huge additions are made, arbitrary without any basis, enormous application of principle of accounting. So therefore, again the concept of real income versus notional income. Correct? So therefore, we'll have to burden is on us to prove that additional does not represent any real income. And where the grievance is narrow, technical or procedural, clear misapplication of provisions or illegality can be effectively redressed by single benevolent order. Revision under 264 is not maintainable when appeal is pending, has been decided on merit, or time to appeal has not expired. Assessee has not waived the right of appeal. So coming back to the title from where we started, that the powers of 264 they are beyond appeal and rectification. So we have discussed the different situations. Now, how to prepare an application? For filing an appeal, there is a proper form 35. There is a proper restriction that it cannot be more than 10,000 characters, the grounds of appeal. But for filing this appeal, this revision application, there is no proper format. It has been left open-ended. Whatever assessee wants to write, communicate to his administrative head, he can communicate. Whatever evidences you want to adduce, you can do that. So there is no restriction. So now we'll have to start that how this application should be filed under 264. except a statutory requirement of payment of 500 rupees. There is no requirement except the timeline which we had just discussed. Yet, again, a mandate has been given by the parliament to admit a delayed application. So now, if a decision has been taken that 261 application has to be filed, then what precaution, what process which we have to do? Now I talk to this. Start with maintainability. Candidly explain why appeal has not been filed or has been waived and why section 265 is invoked. It is your duty to inform, to mention, to convince your administrative head that my case falls fit in 264, not in 246. Time barred appeal, non appealable order, CPC mismatch, omitted claim, you'll have to assign the reasons. Those reasons should not require any application of mine. They should be very straight and clear, simple, which has to be accepted. There should not be any reason occasional with the commissioner to reject your claim. Second, frame the grievance in constitutional language. Your language should not be legal. It is a constitutional right because it is arising out of Article 265 that no levy of tax or collection is possible unless authority of the law. No authorities can collect tax. No authority can levy any tax. So therefore, constitutional language emphasize that assessee is being made to pay taxes which is not authority by law, referring back to Article 265, read with Circular 40. Be precise on the facts. Annex relevant orders, computation C, 26A. Factually, you'll have to convince your case that whatever return I have filed is correct and whatever additions have been done, they are patently wrong. No debate is required to prove. There is no requirement for conducting any investigation or inquiry to prove that order in question was wrong. Specify relief crisply. What relief you want? You want matter should go back to file of the AO. You want a particular addition has to be adjudicated. You want a particular deduction has to be done. You want a particular observation of the AO that should be deleted. There can be a number of good reasons. I can go in 264 even for removing a particular observation. A particular wrong observation is given by the, though it is not affecting my income, yet it is affecting my interest. I can go. Address, it is going to affect my earlier or subsequent appeals. I should go and get it corrected. As an address non-prejudicial sealing, this is most important. Reassure that granting the requested relief does not require disturbing issues that may be revenue prejudicial. But we should not go and ask something which should affect my case or other cases, which they will not do, and keep risk strategy in mind. You have to keep in your mind that in the event if commissioner is not convinced with my application, so either he will decline to hear or he may confirm the order passed by the EU. So the remedy available is with the writ jurisdiction. There are 3 different types of writ. We'll discuss later. However, here I would like to discuss the merits and demerits of appellant versus revisionary remedy. There are 2 remedies available. Now, आपने कहा साहब आपने लॉ बता दिया, आपने प्रोसेस बता दिया, आपने चीज बता दी. अब मैं मेरिट डिमेरिट कैसे डिस्कस करूं कि किसमें क्या फायदा किसमें नुकसान है, तो मैं बताना चाहूंगा नेचर ऑफ पावर. एपिलेट अथॉरिटी के पास में पावर्स वाइडर है. They can reappreciation of evidence, facts and law. Appeal is a continuation of assessment. Whereas revisionary remedy, first sentence, no such order shall be passed, which is prejudicial to the interest of the assessee. So therefore, it's a win-win situation. But only thing, I have to be very cautious for filing my application. Next, outcome risk, say 264, it attains finality. Order cannot be prejudicial, no announcement, only relief or status quo. So risk, outcome risk is relatively less. CIT appeal, unlimited, unrestricted, announcement, or maybe they can modify. Even CIT appeal cement the order. The order, if the appeal done by AO is weak, he by collecting the evidences and material, he generally the order is cemented by the CIT appeal. It would be very difficult for me to get the relief from the higher courts, ITAT or High Court. Authority, CIT appeal is not the end. So authorities, CITP, Light AT, High Court, Supreme Court, depending on the state. Here only set competent authority either of PCCIT, CIT or CCIT. Limitation to file 30 days for appeal, 1 year, maybe after 1 year, delay is unknown if I can prove that I was prevented by sufficient good reasons. Power to set aside available with revisionary authority under 264, but is not available with CID appeal unless there was an ex parte order, which is I think recently they amended the law. Further remedy, further appeal to ITAT, High Court, Supreme Court available as per the statute. Here, no statutory appeal, only writ jurisdiction is available. Scope to test correctness of assessment on facts and law in adversarial appellate proceeding. What is adversarial? Adversarial means कि रेवेन्यू और एसएससी दो पार्टियां लड़ रही हैं, दोनों का इंटरेस्ट है, एक कंफर्म हो जाएगा तो एक का नुकसान एक का फायदा है. दिस इज कॉल्ड एडवर्सरियल अपीलेट प्रोसीडिंग. Are a long process where two opposing sides present. Equitable assessee. This 264 is equitable assessee centric relief akin to complete justice concept. So it is more constitutional. 264 is more constitutional. 246A is more legal, statutory. Finality. It attains finality, 264, what we are discussing today. And whereas 246A appeal is not, it doesn't attain finality. As per the circular of 2024, which we had just discussed, based on the monetary addition or tax effect, second and subsequent appeals are filed. So no purpose of getting an appeal once you receive a favorable order from CIT appeal. After coming home, by the time you come home, you'll get another notice the department has gone appeal against that order. Now it's an endless process, and nowadays litigation is not a very easy affair. It has become a very risky affair. Now, between the safety and the risk, we'll have to take. So it is not one or few aspects which are important. There are multiple aspects. We'll have to discuss with the client. See, what do you want? Is the risk features or the safety features? So this comparison again will throw a light how this decision has to be taken. As far as affiliate remedy is concerned, it is high. Risk is high because the enhancement. Here, relatively low because 263, again within time period of 2 years, there is no time limit. Nature of proceeding, adversarial. So, CID appeal is a quasi judicial. He has to take into consideration the interest of the SSC. He is open-ended. He is duty-bound to pass a reasoned speaking order. Whatever mistakes in favor of revenue have been left unattended by the AO, it is his duty to cure and create a good document in favor of the revenue. Here in 264, it is a supervisory and equitable focus on correcting illegality, impropriety, and hardship. Time of disposal, there is no time limit for CIT appeal. Government is trying their level best that the disposal should be fast, but number of officers are less, number of litigations are increasing, so therefore there is a serious delay. But here, what I explained in 264, 1 year for filing, 1 year for getting the result. So maximum within 2 years, you will get a result. And according to me, if you take up your case judiciously, if you take care of all facts and the law, and the proper strategic decision is taken, proper application is drafted, question of loss does not arise. Question of gain depends on your strategy and of the client. And the client is lucky. I think we should not think of anything. We should go into 264. But of course, we'll have to be careful with respect to drafting of the application. The strategic use is the most important. The ultimate essence of the entire discussion, what we have done today, is the strategic use. Suitable for high stake, factual, controversial, where complete re-hearing is required. केस में आपको लगता है डेटर जोड़ दिए, क्रेडिटर जोड़ दिए, खर्चे अलाउ नहीं किए, सेल्स जोड़ दिए, घटा दिए, multiple issues are there. So you want that the CIT appeal should act like an AO and there should be a re-hearing of the facts. So I think CIT appeal is the best remedy. And where the 264 is concerned, suitable where assessee wants, safe, equitable, quicker remedy with restricted receipt transfer. So these discussions, what we have done, they are very, very important to decide whether a particular case we should go in appeal, conventional appellate system, or we should file a revisionary application. Friends, you have to understand both terms, they are self-explanatory. Appeal means appeal. There are two parties, we are fighting, and third person is a referee. Revision means whatever a junior officer has done. If he has done wrong, the senior officer correct and cure those interests, and that correction would be only in the interest of the member of the family, which is the Indian citizen. So therefore, our constitution is the visionary people, those who drafted our constitution, they were visionary. They knew the possible situation, this type, different type of situation will come. So they made such provisions as part of the law maybe 100 years back, and now today we are enjoying. And so this is my considered opinion that 264 is not an untouchable section. Generally, people says कि साहब 264 मत करो, officers को दिक्कत में आ जाए. Yes, I agree. Officer will be in trouble because they feel that whatever wrong has been done by them, why should we, I administrative head, I should correct them. Let them go to the appeal. They should pass the test of appeal and they should come back. So it is not an encouraging section as far the department is concerned. But as far as the SSC is concerned, I am of the view that we should take a judicial action. This section 264, according to me, is more SSC friendly. It is more favorable. So coming to the myth which exists among the members, among the people, that 264 is not favorable. So before I discuss further, I would like to discuss that in the event if 264, I am not able to get the relief which I expect. Are the remedy available with these to file the writs of different types? There are 5 different types of writs, which I think majority of the friends they are aware. So out of those 5, 3 writs they are fit. First is certiorari, writ of certiorari. Second, writ of prohibition. Third is writ of mandamus. So all discussion depends on all types of writ depends. If you see latent illegality in passing the order, so it is a case of certiorari. If we have to get a direction for the commissioner to pass an order under 264, he doesn't want to pass the order. I can go maybe any subordinate officer. You want any direction arising out of maybe this order. So the writ of mandamus and the writ of prohibition, if some act is done beyond the jurisdiction of the capacity of the officer, we can go to the court and we can show that this particular authority was not competent to adjudicate this matter, yet adjudication has been done by them. So this by filing these 3 writs. So if we go to the remedy after rejection of 264, so once 264 is declined, the act chose the revisional doors. Your remedy shift to constitutional courts. Very, very important. And don't think that approaching High Court or Supreme Court, I think it would be a difficult for to get the relief. If your counsel is able to demonstrate your case with respect to both facts and the law, that wrongdoings have been done by the authority. So it is not only the relief, there are chances that action can be taken by the court against the wrongdoers, and maybe you can be compensated if you can again demonstrate that because of the wrongdoings of the department, I have suffered substantial loss. So even the other loss, instead of paying taxes to the government, if on account of the wrongdoings, you can demonstrate a case that I suffered heavily, the courts are there to ensure to cure your remedy. 264 rejection does not end remedies. It changes the forum from statute to constitution. इनकम टैक्स एक्ट की हाईएस्ट अथॉरिटी है. उन्होंने कहा साहब आप नहीं करेंगे, बट दे हैव टू पास अ स्पीकिंग ऑर्डर. If I am confident with respect to my submission, with respect to my burden, onus which I already discharged, I think I should be confident. I should not get nervous if the commissioner does not interfere in the assessment passed by the junior authority, subordinate authority, but I should ensure that I should put before him on the record by all points, all facts, all laws, and all related issues. and of internal ladder. Explanation 1 to section 264 deems a refusal to interfere non-prejudicial. So this confusion, if I lost in a particular matter, it does not mean that my case is not fit for 264. There can be situations because commissioner is also a human being. He may not agree with my application. It doesn't mean that my application is wrong. I should not lose my confidence. I should keep on moving. And Article 226 and 227 and the types of writs I already explained: certiorari to question illegal non-speaking rejection, mandamus to compel decision on merit and maintainable, prohibition to prevent action beyond 264 ceiling or coercive recovery while illegality is tested. Ground for writ has to be carefully drafted. Non-application of mind or mechanical refusal. If the commissioner, without appreciating my contention, if he passes an order or he doesn't pass the order, we'll have to put before the court that there was no application of mine. So the statutory obligation, it is not the duty, it is a statutory constitutional duty on the commissioner to ensure to apply proper application of mine. And they cannot do a mechanical refusal. Violation of natural justice, no hearing, no reason. I file an application, they don't call, last date comes, they get a report from lower authorities, because lower authorities, they have to reiterate their own order. They are not going to say that they have done wrong. So based on their order, they'll reproduce the commissioner and passes the order. So it is again a violation of natural justice. Misreading of merger maintainability bars. Merger I discussed that CIT appeal once gives the finding to the assessment order, then it amounts to a merger. And next is hyper-technical condonation rejection that defeats Article 265 circular. Maybe the failure to consider lawful claim through statute permits inquiry. So Delhi High Court in GV Enterprises is in a recurring authority for writ intervention where justice demand despite alternate remedy. So I think constitution is there as far as the Indians are concerned, and we taxpayer we should have confidence on our statute, on our constitution, and based on but duty lies on us, and the myth has to be removed that 264 is not a suitable good section. We should involve, we should not use, we should if this particular section, the provision in the act would have been wrong, then I would like to take the last point. I would like to take your attention to section 264A of the act, our act. 264A, 264A says that when the faceless regime came, then they should have amended the section 264A, but they said no. This 264A section talks about that during faceless regime, for handling this 263 and 264 cases, the government is central government, the power have been given to the CBDT that they will have to frame certain guidelines, they will have to frame certain rules that this 263 and 264 should also be adjudicated in faceless manner. But strangely, the time given by the parliament makes the rule was 31st March 2022, 1 minute, 31st March 2022, and that period is already over. So therefore, the conventional act, so I can this 264 act is already explained. So they say eliminating the interference between income tax authorities and SSC on or the any other person to the extent of technology, optimizing utilizing of the receipt, introducing a team-based revision of order. So therefore, they want that the greater degree of efficiency, transparency, and accountability should be achieved by invoking the provision of 264. So with this, I would like to closing takeaway. What is our closing takeaway? Briefly, I will take. I know the time I'm running to my scheduled time. So before I leave for the day, I would like to take the closing for reducing the. So therefore, the teaching and practice, three practical methods may be underlined. First, choose remedy consciously. 154 for the obvious, 246A for adversarial, and the fact heavy, 264 for inequitable and overlooked. Second, treat section 264 with respect to due to wide quasi-judicial equity jurisdiction. It is not a poor cousin of appeal, but it is also cannot be abused as a substitute for appeal. Third, always enter your 264 strategy in Article 265 and Circular 14. The ultimate purpose is to ensure that no assessee pays tax beyond what law authorizes. Right tax by right authorities through the right remedy, that is the true power of Section 264. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for your deep knowledge. And really, we are very much blessed to have a speaker, dynamic speaker like you, sir. आपने जैसे सही कहा है सर कि 264 section is untouched and it is only for the SSC. And sir, really you have given the real life illustrations, enriched our understanding on the subject, and very practical guidance, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, now we'll proceed for the question and answer sessions. Sir,
Yes, sir.
I have a question. What is the scope of revision when an SSC has partly appealed on certain grounds, sir? Please enlighten us, sir.
You see, again, the doctrine of merger, which I already explained. If you see timeline for filing appeal is 30 days, timeline for filing 264 is there. I have filed an appeal before CAT appeal. I have challenged maybe three grounds. Three grounds have been adjudicated, maybe favorable, unfavorable. So the other ground which was never appealed, I can go to commissioner appeal, but commissioner appeal will not touch me because that order of assessing officer has merged with the order of commissioner appeal, assessing officer and commissioner appeal. So I, being a commissioner, I can only touch a work done by my subordinate. I cannot adjudicate a work which is done by my colleague or my other officer who is not subordinate.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So next question is, how does commissioner evaluate sufficient cause while condoning delay under section 264, sir?
Okay, very good, interesting question. You see, as I told you, there is no timeline for the delayed application. So delayed application, for example, my father was filing his return and he died, correct? And my particular details was available with him only. I was searching for those details and I could not find. Maybe after 2 years, I got the detail, which permits me a particular deduction or a relief or maybe a relief in my tax matter. So this particular matter has already been dealt in two judgments. One is Digvijay Cement Limited versus CIT Gujarat High Court, and second Sahil Machines India Limited versus Taxman Punjab and Haryana High Court. In these says the power under 264 is wide, intended to prevent miscarriage of justice. आपको डिले से ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट केस को बताना पड़ेगा कि आपका इंटेंशन इज बोनाफाइड. It was left unattended deliberately, unintentional. आपने deliberately delay नहीं की, circumstances. So word is, if the commissioner is satisfied that assessee was prevented by sufficient cause. So sufficient cause depend on case to case basis.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Next case. In case where order has been issued under section 144 and 147 and time to file appeal against that order has been lapsed. In such case, what is a better option, whether to go for appeal with sufficient cause and with condemnation application, or go for revision under section 264?
You see, I have to see the order which was passed by under 144.
Yeah.
If 144 order was passed in a judicious manner, after due application of mine, after giving me proper opportunity of being heard, and AO has done his all best possible efforts, and then it is a speaking order, then I don't think that commissioner in 264 will interfere. If the assessing officer has taken my non-compliance in a very casually and passed an order on an arbitrary basis, then I should touch 264. So it depends on the quality of the order.
Yeah. Okay, sir. So next question. If appeal is filed with condemnation and appeal is not accepted by CIT appeal, or 2 appeal is accepted by CIT appeal, but the same is concluded against the SSC, During this entire process, time limit of 1 year elapsed whether no SAC can go for revision under section 264 under both the situation. Situation one is CIT appeal accepted the appeal and second is not accepted, sir.
So the moment CIT appeal accepts the appeal, then I am not eligible to touch 264.
264, yes.
The moment my appeal is pending till CIT appeal, no commissioner will touch your application under 264.
Okay, sir. If in that case, if the order is passed against the SAC
By whom?
by the CIT appeal, sir.
So CIT appeal, the order passes, then the alternate remedy. So which order? So therefore, the order passed by CIT appeal merges with the order of the assessing officer. Again,
Okay.
untouchable. I cannot touch.
Yes.
Sir, you have to remember basic principle. Unless until the order passed by my subordinate officer remains organic, only then I can touch that file. The moment it has been checked by my colleague or some other officer who is not subordinate to me, I am not entitled to touch. I can review the work of my juniors, not my seniors, not my colleagues.
Okay. Sir, can we file a writ before the High Court to direct the commissioner to dispose of under the appeal under section 264?
If the time is not expired, you cannot go. You can go to the commissioner for early disposal of 264 by giving good reasons. I don't think that commissioner will say, no, I will not do that. But you can go to the court if you feel that it should be disposed fast and you have all good compelling reasons and those reasons can be told, then it can be. But there should be delay, serious delay on the part of the commissioner.
Okay, sir. Sir, there is a
Or you can discuss that there is a pressure of recovery. You have to assign the reason. Heavy assessment, pending 264 pending, AO is pressing for demand. So either they will put the demand in stay or they will dispose it fast. If I want to go in public issue, SEBI says that we'll disclose this contingent liability and it is affecting my valuation. I will go and tell them that I already filed papers with SEBI and this is an impediment which is affecting my interest severely. So please attend my appeal revision application on priority basis. I'm ready to cooperate. Request can be done. But going to the court is not the right thing, sir.
Yes. Okay, sir. Sir, there is a pending disposal of rectification request under section 154. Can we file application under section 264 with respect to wrong calculation of higher interest under section 234 ABC?
So this is the best situation, sir.
Okay. Sir, if order under section 144, 147 passed, ex parte, and SSC did not respond to the various notices given under the section. However, after order passed, SSC responded with full supporting, but AO did not consider the same as the order is passed. Whether in this situation, SSC should go for 264. सर जस्ट मैं बोलता हूँ कि कुछ सिचुएशन ऐसे होते हैं मफस्सल एरिया में नोटिसेस कुछ ऐसे नोटिसेस मिलते नहीं है बाय पोस्ट और कुछ ऐसे ईमेल्स और रेगुलरली चेक नहीं करते. This is the situation, sir.
It has already been dealt by the apex court that the department should not expect that every day the assessor will open the computer or his chartered accountant, if he gets to know, he will inform to his client because the client has not paid fees. Why the CA will call and inform? ये practical situation है. तो इसके लिए कोर्ट ने कहा कि साहब the assessor has to demonstrate a good case. However, nowadays this faceless regime, you can see if my CID appeal has visited to my portal, I can get a tick. I do not know whether this kind of technological advancement is already there with the department. They can see whether I have seen that order or not. If I think by the time we are the way we are moving, the day is not far जहाँ पता लग जाएगा कि साहब मैंने order देख लिया और मैं कह रहा हूँ मैंने देखा नहीं है. So अगर आप justify कर पाएंगे, reasonable delay आपको allow मिल जाएगी, justifiable है. लेकिन आप 2 साल बाद उसके बाद जाओगे तो आपको बताना पड़ेगा कि मैं सब देश छोड़ के चला गया था, मुझे पता नहीं, उसके बाद में मेरे फादर की डेथ हो गई, मैं आया नहीं, फिर मेरी वाइफ कैंसर में मर गई, मैं इलाज में लगा रहा, so you'll have to show your bona fide. You cannot say कि मैं बेटे की शादी में बिजी था इसलिए मैंने अपील फाइल नहीं की. Nobody is going to allow you.
Okay, sir. Sir, one last question, sir. Sir, what is the implication if the SSC withdraw appeal against 264, sir?
264 appeal. There is no bar. You can withdraw your 264. But if during course of that file inspection, if I have come to know that it is a case of 263, मैं 263 कर दूंगा.
Okay.
So be aware.
Yes. Okay, sir. With these questions, I heartily thanks to you from the Direct Tax Committee ICI for such a enlightening sessions, such a insightful session. Sir, ये ऐसे sessions बहुत सारे जगह पे physically possible नहीं है, sir, due to traveling arrangements और वो. तो ICAI डायरेक्ट टैक्स कमिटी ने ये जो लाइव वेबिनार है और जिसमें मोस्टली मोर देन थाउजेंड्स ऑफ पार्टिसिपेंट्स ने पार्टिसिपेट किया है आज के सेमिनार में.
आज भी आए हैं क्या लोग? आज भी लोग आए?
यस सर, यस सर. सर, मोर देन 1000 पीपल्स ज्वाइन द सेमिनार, सर. तो अब उन्हीं सबके तरफ से, डायरेक्ट टैक्स कमिटी की तरफ से, सर, मैं आपका धन्यवाद कहना चाहता हूँ. आपने इतना इंसाइटफुल सेशन लिया है, सर. थैंक यू वेरी मच, सर.
मैं लास्ट में जाने से पहले को धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूँ कि मैं वैसे तो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हूँ, उसके बाद मैं लॉ फर्म रन करता हूँ, पर मुझे अपने आप जब भी मैं किसी चार्टर्ड अकाउंट को देखता हूँ मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है और मुझे सीए प्रोफेशन को मैं एडमायर हूँ. और मैं बीइंग ए चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट दो आई डिड एट द एज ऑफ 21, पर मुझे वो हमेशा मैं रिलीज करता हूँ और मुझे अच्छा लगता है कि भाई सीए प्रोफेशन से मेरा अटैचमेंट है. मैं सारे मेंबर्स को बोलना चाहता हूँ कि किसी प्रकार की कोई हेल्प एडवाइस इस सब्जेक्ट पे अगर उन्हें जरूरत पड़ती है, कोई लिटिगेशन के पास आता है और कोई ऐसा केस आता है तो दे कैन कॉन्टेक्ट मी, दे कैन सीक माय एडवाइस. आई मीन देयर इज नो बार, प्रोफेशनली वी आर और प्रोफेशनल कलीग्स. लेकिन 264 के बारे में जो गलत धारणाएं हैं लोगों के बीच में कि साहब ऑफिसर्स की नौकरी चली जाती है, ऑफिसर्स को दिक्कत में आ जाएंगे. अरे भाई, लॉ मैंने नहीं बनाया है, लॉ पार्लियामेंट ने बनाया है, 100 साल से बना हुआ है. अगर गलत कानून होता तो आप हटा दो. आप 263 को सही मानते हो और 264 को गलत मानते हो, ये कैसे हो सकता है? आज क्लाइंट का प्रोटेक्शन बहुत जरूरी है. तो प्रोफेशनल्स को आई थिंक वी नीड टू हैव मोर यूनिटी एंड वी आई थिंक आई ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू दैट वी शुड बी वेरी कॉशियस in assessing the order passed by the department. We should see 360 degree and we should also see the facts and circumstances of the client. उसके बाद we should also see what grounds we can take. We should also see the possibility of 263. We should also see that in this situation the commissioner can decline to interfere. So we should have that confidence. Unless and we don't have confidence that we can represent our case and we can prove that the order passed by the authorities below is erroneous, is unlawful, and they have made illegal addition beyond the scope of law. I don't think that the outcome of 264 will never be negative. No, we are going to get relief, and this is the best provision in the Act. We all members should use judiciously more frequently.
Sir, definitely, sir, definitely. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.